Look at that outfit, amazing.
You look gorgeous.
You're like an angel.
Oh, thank you.
You never said anything that nice to me.
Well, you are
It's fine.
you're an angel too. In your
Thank
own
you.
special way.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
Lovely to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Now, you're no stranger to the JUNOs. Oh, here, I'm going to give you this microphone
yeah,
first.
okay.
There you go.
Yeah, this will be my second one, but my first one in the children's category.
Yes, because you're a jazz singer.
Yes, I'm a jazz singer.
So what kind of motivated you to make the transition to a children's record?
I was just getting parents who were emailing me and saying, you know, I use this song or that song, you know, to put my kid to bed. And then in 1 month, there was a particular month that I was just getting a lot of similar emails, and it sort of tweaked the idea, you know, maybe could I make an album with all kids stuff just for kids? And once the idea was there, I was pretty much committed to seeing it through, so.
Well, and obviously, an amazing job.
Yeah, so.
So great.
It's interesting though, because do you think that people assume it's easier to make children's music than it actually is? Like, my sister works in children's publishing, and the joke is that everyone thinks they have a children's book in them, when in fact it's very difficult to craft entertainment, meaningful, substantial entertainment for that demographic that also appeals. I call them a demographic. I'm awful. But is it the same in children's music?
To be really honest, I didn't overthink it too much. I just thought if they're already listening to, you know, sort of what was intended to be adult level jazz, I just thought all I need to do are find the right songs, and then we're just going to do it the same way we've done the other albums. And I use some of the finest, you know, jazz musicians and classical musicians that exist in Canada today that I've used on my other albums, and we just sat down with the songs and we said we're not gonna change anything. If the kids are already listening to them, we're just gonna do what we do. And we had no idea, honestly, what age group we were targeting. It was just a matter of if there's kids already listening and liking, then hopefully they'll listen and like this too. So it wasn't like I didn't sit down and try to sort of figure out who's gonna listen to this. I just thought, I'm gonna make it.
Do you remember the music you listened to when you were a child?
I listened to Raffi. It was a really big honor to be nominated alongside of him because it's just a generation or so later to be sharing the category. And he did a lot of great songs for kids. And I remember, you know, singing Baby Beluga and that sort of stuff in the living room. That's right, right?
Yes.
So
I think about that sometimes when I
so I mean, I also listened to a lot of stuff from like sort of musicals and some of the stuff we covered was from Disney and Sesame Street.
Oh, right.
So we did like Rainbow Connection and some of those kinds of classic tunes. So yeah, some of them were new to me though. You know, there were songs from the era in which I grew up, but I didn't know them. So that was an interesting discovery too. So.
What was your favorite discovery?
Oh, sorry. We're so excited to talk to you.
Just like, tell us more.
Well, there was a couple of really cool Sesame Street songs that I had never heard. One of them was one that Ernie sings to Bert when Bert says he's having trouble to get to sleep. And it's about imagination, which became, at first I was going to do a lullaby album, but I do have a rather relaxing voice, and I thought if I do a whole album of lullabies, they'll never hear more than 3 tracks. So I did sort of imagination as the theme, the beginning of it being when you're awake, imagination, and then the latter part being the sort of the dream sequence when you go into sleep. And that was one of the last songs we added on the album, but I just found it at the last minute, and I was like, this is a great song. We did a bunch of songs by Joe Raposo, who used to compose for Sesame Street, and he actually was a fascinating composer because he felt that children's music should incorporate a diverse range of influences. So he was bringing an African, Brazilian themed music into Sesame Street, and a lot of it is actually pretty sophisticated and not always as happy as I think what some people might think of when we think of children's music today. Some of it's kind of sad almost and reflective, and we do like Gonzo's song and for the Muppets too, and like some of them they're kind of quiet and kind of reflective. So it seemed to me that it was a bit maybe lacking in like the current market, that there were just some of these more introverted songs maybe. I think there's a slightly introverted quality to the album. So.
Interesting.
Introverts need music too.
That's right.
Thank you so much for your time and coming back here and talking to us, and congratulations.
Thank you for having me. Oh, and I'm supposed to tell you all that you can stream live on junotv.ca, right?
Oh, good plug. Yeah, that was excellent. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
We have been failing at our plug.
I
mean,
was
I'm
asked.
joking.
We should hire you next year.
Yeah.
Your outfit is amazing too.